Hey, all right. So we are live. Let's check the live chat because every once in a while this messes up. See if that is working before we get going here. Got a little bit of a head cold. Don't know how long the voice or the lungs, for that matter, are going to hold out. But we're going to try to do this like we normally do it. So we do have a race today. So I guess we can go through that first. Let me know if the chat is working down there. I'm not seeing anything on my side. Might have to restart this if I don't see one down there. Not looking good. See if it's working on my side. Yep, there we go. All right, it is working. All right, let's see here. Your DraftKings odds for winning this race, they've got Christopher Bell, surprisingly, listed as the favorite. Kyle Busch, who is my pick, listed as second, but Christopher Bell is, I said Christopher Busch, I think. Christopher Bell at plus 750, Kyle Busch at plus 800. Then you got Kyle Larson at plus 900. I haven't seen anything so far from practice with Kyle Larson. I don't know that he's got a fast car, but of course it's a California track. You can never count out Kyle Larson, but he's at plus 900 as your third best. Then they got Justin Haley here at plus 1,000, pole sitter. Unbelievable speed over there. Then you got Chase Elliott, who also looks like the Hendrick cars are just a little bit off, other than William Byron. For whatever reason, when the cars are off, William Byron is fast. When the cars are on, Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson are fast. And then Alex Bowman is just a wild card. He's fast sometimes, and then sometimes he has bad luck. Old bad luck Bowman. But Chase Elliott plus 1,000. Denny Hamlin plus 1,000. I haven't seen a lot of speed from the Toyotas. Joey Logano, the defending champ, plus 1,200. William Byron, aforementioned, plus 1,200. Martin Truex, plus 15. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, all at plus 15. You got some good value picks there. Tyler Reddick was running good there last year until he had problems, so he wouldn't be a bad pick there. I would stay away from Ryan Blaney. He did not look good in qualifying, but that's just my personal opinion. Then you got Chase Briscoe there at plus 2,000. Kevin Harvick plus 2,000. So I think a good value pick right there with both of those guys, actually, as long as Chase Briscoe doesn't get nowhere near AJ Allmendinger, of course. Then you got Bubba Wallace at plus 2,500, Alex Bowman plus 2,500, then Suarez at plus 3,000. Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Ty Gibbs plus 4,000. Of course, Austin Dillon had the same speed that Kyle Busch has, so there you go. If you want to throw a wild card pick in there, and you can never really count out Eric Almirola, especially on a flat track. Ty Gibbs wild card, he's a rookie. Then you got some real value picks right here, in my opinion. Eric Jones at plus 5,000, AJ Allmendinger at plus 5,000. I'll take that action all day. Ryan Preece, if you're a big Ryan Preece fan, plus 5,000. Nice flat track for a modified guy. I wouldn't count him out. Then you got your basically, you get into your long shots at plus 10,000, Christopher Buescher, plus 10,000, Austin Cindric, and plus 10,000, Brad Keselowski. The level of disrespect to Brad Keselowski, putting him at plus 10,000. Oh my goodness. And Austin Cindric as well, plus 10,000. Like literally, I would do that one all day just because it's not that unlikely to happen, especially at the Clash. Then you got Noah Gragson at plus 10,000 as well. Then you got your super long shots: Corey LaJoie, 25,000; Harrison Burton, 25,000; Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 25,000. I mean, might be worth a fiver there. Todd Gilliland plus 25,000. Ty Dillon plus 25,000. Obvious, should be the favorite there, Ty Dillon. Michael McDowell plus 25,000. Cody Ware, I can't believe he's this far down, but Cody Ware plus 50,000. BJ McLeod plus 50,000, and JJ Yaley also plus 50,000. So there you go. There is your preview. They don't have any prop bets for this one, no prop bets or anything like that. So we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully, and they've got the Daytona odds up too, but we'll save that for the actual Daytona 500. But no prop bets. You can't bet on will a Chevrolet win, who's going to finish who's going to be your pick three to finish in the top five, and all that stuff. So none of that today. But let's get to the comments. That's basically the preview because they don't have any real statistics because they've only had one previous race here. So that's basically the preview for this one. Let's see here. Chat is good, says Joseph. D. Murphy, 1578. They're blaming the fire on Gibbs' crew. Surprise, surprise. You know, it's never NASCAR's fault. Let's see here. Escobar says this new car really needs to be written off, but NASCAR doesn't want to take the time and money to do that. Yeah, so this new car has had an auspicious start, to say the least. It has not gone well. There have been several issues with this car. My concern here is they're saying this isn't a rocker box issue, but I don't care. There's a fire inside of the car, and this is a bad look for NASCAR because we had random fires inside of the car last year. The car should not be randomly catching on fire. And if they said they fixed the rocker fire issue last year, and they're saying it's not a rocker issue this year, it's because of the muffler. Well, okay, I'll give you that. But you didn't test the muffler until like literally last week. So either way, this looks about as half-assed as it can possibly look. So either way, it's just not a good look for NASCAR, and any credibility they have is rapidly eroding. So you didn't really, in my opinion, fix the fires inside of the cars. Have you really fixed the low-speed rear-end crash issues as well? I have serious questions about that as well. So it is what it is. RJ Rodney, what's up? Good to see y'all on here. Michael Curtis, what's going on? Bell is going to leave Gibbs if he can't race dirt. So that's another issue. Altogether, I've got that quote pulled up. So obviously, you saw the video where he literally said Joe Gibbs doesn't like dirt racing. Well, the people in charge at JGR apparently got a hold of him and decided they were not going to let him get away with saying that, and they corrected his speech. The thought police got him there, and he said recently, I feel like I need to clear the air a little bit. My comments definitely didn't reflect my situation, my relationship with Joe Gibbs, and, you know, my standing with the team. Joe himself, the entire Gibbs family, has been nothing but helpful for me and inspiring for me. Joe has not mentioned any dislike for dirt track racing, which literally totally contradicts what he said. The only thing was his wanting to keep my healthy, whether that was racing or being put on the lake or anything. He just had my best interest in mind. I did a bad job of portraying that. I don't know what the future holds for me, dirt track racing, but my comments were not well put. So to me, and this is just my opinion, to me it sounds like they said, shut up and act right, and they made him change his statement because they don't want people, this is a tactical move, people that race dirt going to Joe Gibbs. If Joe Gibbs wants to get another dirt racer, this looks bad on Joe Gibbs trying to get another dirt racer in his organization, right? So they basically made him walk down his comments and retract them, in my opinion. Secondly, I think this was dumb because the more you talk about this, the bigger the story is going to get. So if you just stop talking about it, it would eventually go away. But every time you say something about it in public, this story is going to get legs and grow and grow. Like, see, this is my second story about this. Is the second time I'm talking about it. If they just hadn't have said anything, if they had just let it go, this thing would have died out. But now I will probably make another video about this, or just use this clip right here that I just said right here. But just stop talking about it. Like, there's no need to retract your comments. Like, it's a bad PR move either way you look at it. Just stop talking about it and move on from it. If anybody asks you about it in the future, be like, I've said all I'm going to say about that. Move on. So that's the way they should handle it from here on. In my opinion, that's the way they should handle it from here on out. But yeah, it definitely sounds like they got to him and made him retract his comments. So I agree with you. He might think about leaving if he still wants to race dirt and stuff like that. Or Joe Gibbs Racing might let him race dirt to not have any more negative press. Either way you want to look at it. Zach Albright, what's up, Zach? Hey, buddy, do you think Haley gets this down? I think he'll get a heat race one. I think he'll definitely win a heat race. Overall, I'm still picking Kyle Busch to win overall. And that's based on the fact that Kyle Busch finished second last year in JGR equipment. And last year, I thought Tyler Reddick had the fastest car until his transaxle broke. So couple those two together, I feel like Kyle Busch has a really good chance of winning this. And of course, you can never count out Joey Logano. Joey Logano dominated this race in the main event last year as well. Robert Mark says, how do you hose heads? He's a little Canadian slang there. Greetings and salutations from the Great White North. Take off, eh? What's up, Canada? What's up, Robert Mark? It's good to see you on here as always. Mark Martin, fan for life. Ty Gibbs will be a wrecking machine trying to come from the back. So, yeah, that's the other issue with it. Because of that fire, the faulty configuration of the muffler or whatever they're going to blame, the team, whatever, he didn't get a chance to qualify with that car. So he's going to have to come from the back of the pack. Ty Gibbs, is not patient. Ty Gibbs, wants to win everything in sight. And Ty Gibbs is probably going to plow through that field because he's going to have a fast car. He's a fast driver, and he wants to win. So he's not going to be happy with just transferring. He's going to be going for the win, in my opinion, of that heat race. So I would look out for that as well. Zach says, as far as the fire, I heard improper installation, but surely mufflers are playing a factor based on what Bell said after the test. Yeah, so, okay, it was improper installation, but literally they just tested these things last week. So it's not like they've had any practice on how to properly install them and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, here's the real prop bet that DraftKings needs to do. Over under how many cars are going to catch on fire in this race, like randomly catch on fire. I would set it at 2. I would set the over under at 2. How many cars randomly catch on fire this race? I would set the over under at 2, and I would take the over. Let's see here. Flat tracks are like pancakes, LOL. Yeah, for sure. And bologna is a hot dog pancake or whatever people say about that. Robin Marks, I bet Brad. Yeah, Brad Keselowski. I can't believe he got disrespected like that. A heck of a value pick there, in my opinion. I'll take that all day. Plus 10, God, plus 10,000. Him and Austin Cindric, no respect. Noah Gragson also down there, no respect. Plus 10,000. I know he's a rookie, but golly, that's rough. That's they're begging you to take him. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Rich L. What's up, Rich? Jay Santos just got here. What's Kyle Busch odds? Kyle Busch is plus 800. And the only person above him as far as odds go that you're technically getting worse odds for would be Christopher Bell at plus 750. A lot of people believe in Christopher Bell will get it done here. Who else believes the season is make or break for this car? I hope they fix I agree with you, Adam. That's a good point. I hope they fix the issues, but I'm not getting a warm and fuzzy about this season. Yes, it's definitely not the best way you want to start off your season. You had problems with the car last year, and this year in the first basically preseason race or exhibition race, whatever you want to call it, cars are randomly catching on fire again. And instead of NASCAR saying, "Hey, we need to take a look at that," that's on us. They immediately blame the team for installing it improperly. So no accountability from NASCAR, and their credibility, in my opinion, continues to erode. Columbus Boo Jacket says the fire was the curse of Kyle. Oh man! So there you go. Already starting off with the so Kyle Busch qualifies second, and the curse of Kyle Busch begins. I guess on the 54 car, his first race away from that car, formerly the 18. The car catches on fire. That's I hadn't thought about that, but there you go. The curse of Kyle Busch. That's like back in the day, the Red Sox had the curse of Babe Ruth, right? Because they traded him to the Yankees, and the Yankees won all those championships, and it took 70 or 80 years for the Red Sox to win one. RJ says, will NASCAR take accountability for the next-gen car? So far, they haven't. So far, the only thing, and they were forced into a corner to do that, they took accountability for the rear ends not meeting, I guess, safety spec at low-speed crashes. Haley is really fast, has a good chance to win the Clash, says Joshua Jenkins. Yeah, I think so. We saw last year at the end of the year, Justin Haley started to turn it on, put it together. His last half of the season was so much better than his first half of the season. I think he's got it going on. I think he's got a chance here for sure. Rodney Collier says, I'm seeing rain in the forecast, another problem for drivers to deal with. Phelps and O'Donnell need to hit the road. Yeah, Steve Phelps has tried to turn this into the NFL, in my opinion, and I'm not here for what he tried to do. I'm here for what he's done. I'm sure he had the best of intentions, but it hasn't worked out in any level, way, shape, or form. And I'm not necessarily going to get into that because that would just too much time, right? But I'm not here for what he tried to do. I'm here for what he's done, and nothing he has done so far has increased the sport's prominence among young fans. It has not increased the ratings. So I'm not impressed with his performance so far. I am not impressed with your performance, as George St. Pierre would say. Jay Santos, I put 50 on Haley. So there you go. Jay Santos, he liked the action on Haley. He's taking Haley. That's not a bad pick, like I said. Justin Haley really showed something toward the end of last year, and he's definitely got the fastest car this year. I wouldn't sleep on AJ Allmendinger either. Like AJ Allmendinger is his teammate. AJ Allmendinger at plus 5,000. So I think, and this is also for entertainment purposes only. This is just for fun. I'm not telling you what to do. It is what it is. Camaro 50. I was watching a replay of qualifying this morning. Kyle Busch looks like a man on a mission. 100%. Kyle Busch looked good in practice, and he's been my pick even before I saw him in practice and qualifying and all that. I'm really liking I'm liking my Kyle Busch pick here. I think he's going to have a strong race. As long as it's going to be a crazy race. As long as he doesn't get wrecked or anything like that. Jay Santos, Rick Hendrick looks bizarre now. All that plastic surgery. I haven't seen him, Jay, so I'm gonna have to look for that one. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I didn't know he had any plastic surgery. Oh man, all I can think about just off the top of my head, because I haven't seen it or anything like that. Just like Rick Hendrick with Botox Kim Kardashian lips or something like that. That was, for whatever reason, that's the first thing that popped into my mind. So I'll have to take a look at that, but I haven't seen it yet. Roger Riggs said, I saw smoke on the horizon. First thought it was the balloon, but now I know. Yeah, it was just the 54 car going up in flames. The government shot down another one, I reckon. Angus 420, Cup guys will put up about 2 seconds of Ty's crap before they start putting him in the fence. I mean, that's a fair statement. I'm glad actually that AJ Allmendinger sort of set the tone. I like Chase Briscoe a lot. I think he's a good driver, great guy. But he got aggressive in practice, and there was nothing wrong necessarily if that's a race, the type of move that Chase Briscoe was doing to AJ Allmendinger. But in practice, you don't necessarily pull that. And AJ Allmendinger said, "Hey, we're not having it, young buck. We're not having it." So I do like the tone that AJ Allmendinger set early on. Somebody checked Chase Briscoe, and that's basically all you got to do to drivers that drive rough like that. If you check them a couple of times, that'll get the message across. They might drive other people like that, but they won't drive you like that without at least thinking about it. Zach Albright says, Kyle's biggest question of the year: do you think Joey's hair will hold up this season under the helmet? I think his hair is going to be just fine, because we've seen gosh, I can't think of who it is, but there's somebody else. I think it was like Wayne Rooney. He played soccer. He basically got the same system, and his hair held up fine. Look, man, if I ever lose this, I'm going full like Bruce Willis. I'm just going to keep it really, really closely, not shaved, but just really closely cropped. But look, all respect in the world for Joey Logano. It bothered him, and he got something done about it. Like, he took action. He didn't sit there and let it keep bothering him. He took action. He got his hair fixed, and honestly, his hair looks good. Like, if you didn't know, it makes him look about 10 years younger too. So, like, if he's happy with it, man, all for it. Mark Barnum says, KFB for the win. Random two plastic surgery basically questions so far. Did not have that on my bingo board for NASCAR's 2023 season. KFB for the win. I'm with you, Mark Barnum. That's my pick too. Jay Santos, hi BB. What's up, bro? What's up, Jay? Hope you're doing good today. RJ says, on the muffler issue, NASCAR won't take responsibility for their own actions, even though they're just a recent addition. Yeah, I agree. Like, you didn't even test it literally until last week. Now you're expecting teams to put it on properly. I don't get that. Like, I just don't get that. Whoops, let's try this again. I thought I saw smoke in the sky, maybe the spy in the sky, but nope, it was Gibbs' car on fire. Strikes again, says Roger Riggs. There you go. It was just a weather balloon. The 54 was just a weather balloon on track. Dinger putting the horns to Chase in practice was epic. Yeah, like that's just the way to set the tone. If somebody drives you rough, that's what you do. You take care of it. You're like, all right, you want to drive me rough in practice? Here you go. Here's your reward. Whew, can't talk. Getting stuffed up again. I'm gonna try to make it through this one though. They didn't take accountability for the COT. They won't take accountability for this POS. Says Angus 420. I agree with you. So far, they haven't, and they're not going to unless they're forced in a corner, like they were with the rear end safety. All the teams need to agree not to show up to the race to get NASCAR's attention. Do you think this could happen like it did at Talladega in 1969? You could get to a point, especially with the race team alliance. I don't think it'll be over the safety, unfortunately, which it should be. The safety should be the much bigger issue. But I think the actual reason that you might see some type of action like that would be over the TV money. That's actually what I think. I think that's what could happen. Oh man, I'm gonna mess your name up, but I'm gonna do my best. Nazarit Redobolo Fernandez. Hello from Spain. I'm gonna call you Naz. What time does the race start? The race starts at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what time zone Spain is in, but Eastern Standard Time, it is 8 p.m. Over here where I'm at. So hopefully you catch that one, and I hope I didn't butcher your name. I hope I did a good job pronouncing your name. But I'm gonna go with Nas from here on out because I'm not really good at pronouncing names. So hopefully I got that one right. Ken Pryor says I've never been a big Kyle Busch fan in the past, but I'm honestly hoping he wins today. I think he's got a lot more new fans, which was weird in a way because you're so used to him being the most hated guy in the field. But now he's got like a ton more fans, and it just makes me like sort of wonder or realize that were so many people pulling against him because he drove a Toyota, or were so many people pulling against him because of his attitude, or did he just gain that many more fans by going to RCR, the former team of Dale Earnhardt Sr.? Lot of questions there. That's a big question to me. Sammy D's Custom says 2023 season is already on fire. Too soon. That's a pretty good one there, Sammy. I like that one. I see what you did there. Tommy Too Fast, why would you think we aren't seeing painted wheels anymore? And why is that smaller teams seem to be able to wrap the side skirts, but if you look at the major big team money, then they don't wrap them? I would say because the smaller teams are not as concerned about points infractions and stuff like that, Tommy Too Fast. I would say that is most likely why they are doing it, because that and NASCAR normally just pays more attention to the bigger teams also, so they probably wouldn't be able to get away with it. I think eventually you're going to see everybody will be able to wrap the side skirts. I don't see where it's going to be that big of a deal, because if NASCAR really wanted to just tech it or check it, all they got to do is peel that wrap off, and as long as you wrapped it separately where NASCAR could peel it off so they could run it through the scanner or something like that, like the Hawkeye or whatever that thing's called, I don't see where it should be a big deal. Let's see here. RJ says Sammy D's Customs. So you think you're a funny car? Makes the car look weird and unfinished. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Dale Jr. pointed this out a long time ago, before this was even an issue. Cars with matching side skirts just look way better by far. I got a super chat. RJ, what's up? Who remembers Fast Lane Daily? I do not remember Fast Lane Daily. That is one that is outside of my scope of knowledge. But maybe that was on Speed Vision or something. I don't know. Wish Fox would raise the bar in the booth. Boyer was saying how NASCAR can outperform F1. Well, they make so much more serious presentation and not act like we are watching a Ricky Bobby event. Yeah, so that's a Dylan Brown with that one. That's a common criticism of Fox's broadcast. It's hokey and they don't take things as seriously as they should. So that has been a very common critique of the Fox booth, and a lot of people don't like it. And I would say probably the most common critique of the NBC booth is they don't just elevate their volume; they just scream when when anything extra happens. They just start screaming. So they both have two things that a lot of people complain about that they could definitely work on. Mike Ora says Dinger is a sleeper pick. I agree with you right there. The Coliseum is a rhythm track. I'm with you, Mike Ora. I think the Dinger is a good sleeper pick. And just because of, just as far as for entertainment purposes only, just as far as the action goes, Brad Keselowski and Austin Cindric just massively disrespected at plus 10,000. Chris Buescher too, plus 10,000. Those guys are definitely capable of winning. So I don't know. I don't like the disrespect at plus 10,000 for those guys. It's really bothering me for some reason today. Totally agree. Dylan Brown says Kim Pryor. RJ says Ty Gibbs is a big donkey. So Ty Gibbs is definitely polarizing. A lot of people either like him or don't like him. I think that's good for the sport. The fact that you either like a driver or don't like a driver, I like it. I like it when a driver is not neutral and everybody just kind of either is just sort of like, he's whatever. I like it when a driver is like, you either hate him or you love him. That's good for the sport. Robin Mark says, I forgot to thumbs up. Don't be dumb like me. Lick that like button. Yeah, so go ahead. The old iceberg, lick that like button. Yeah, if you like the content so far, go ahead and hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Bent says, as a Kyle Busch fan, I don't want him to win today. I want him mad and angry, mad and hungry for the 500. I think he's going to get both. I'm picking him to win both of them for different reasons. I like his numbers here. at this track because he finished second last year, and Tyler Reddick had the fastest car, so that's why I'm picking him for this race. But at some point, he's got to win the Daytona 500. In my opinion, he's too good of a plate racer to go winless in that particular event. So I think he gets the 500 because he is in cars now. He's got Chevrolet teammates, and he's in one of the faster plate teams of all time in RCR. So I like his odds at the 500 too. So spoiler alert, he's going to be my 500 pick as well. One wise guy, what do you think about Dinger and Briscoe getting into it yesterday? I think it's set. Okay, so let me set it up this way. They were both being boneheads. AJ Allmendinger didn't give him enough room, and Chase Briscoe was racing way too hard for practice. So they were both being boneheads. But that being said, if you're AJ Allmendinger, I like the fact that you set the tone that this is basically AJ Allmendinger's first year in Cup. You got to think about it that way. In a long time, first year in Cup in a long time. So these guys have not necessarily been racing with him. Like, hey, you're not going to drive me like that. You're not going to drive me like that, young guy. So if you do that in practice, I'm going to give you something. If you do it to me in a race, I'm going to give you something. So that way, when people get up to AJ Allmendinger's bumper now, they're going to race him with more respect because they know if they don't, they're going to get something in return. So I do like the way he handled it. I wish more drivers would handle it that way instead of jumping out of the car and immediately getting on their phone. I'm going to say something stupid on Twitter. Yeah, I'm going to get all these Twitter likes. Yeah, I'm going to start some drama on Twitter. Just handle it on the track. Handle it at the racetrack. No need to get on social media and start getting, blah, blah, blah. I owned him on Twitter. I started a bunch of drama on Twitter and social media. That doesn't handle anything. Just handle it on the racetrack, and he'll start driving you with respect. So I like that AJ Allmendinger did that. Let's see. Danny Gray's Cards and Toys. What's up, brother? My son said to tell you he has his racetrack set up on the floor. That's awesome. I hope he's got that 5 car in the lead. Let's see here. Kevin S says, what's up, Kevin? Good morning and afternoon to all, says one wise guy. What's up, one wise guy? Glad to see you on here as always. Robin Mark says, I shave bald. It's so cheap and no hassle. Going to a barber. But my son's a barber. Support your local independent barbers. So there you go. I understand what you're saying. Barber gets a little expensive after a while. I cut my hair literally like once a year. I haven't even cut it. This is over a year, just about, I think. I usually cut it at the 24 hours of Daytona, but I'm just letting it ride this year. Stephen Cook, we got to get another series. We got the SRX and the Cars Tour now, so you can check them out. A lot of NASCAR talent will be in both of those. Evan Oslin says, just got here. Good afternoon, BB, and everyone else. What's up, Evan? Good to have you on here. Mark Barnum, Deegan's surgery turned out to be better than Joey's, says Mark Barnum. So another cosmetic surgery thing. I am not touching that one with a 10-foot pole, Mark. Let's see here. T-Van, but some people would. So that's the only joke I'll make about that one. What's up, BB, says T-Van. What's up, T-Van? That was just a huge Chinese soccer ball, says Rich L. So there you go. Muffler's in use today. The mufflers will be in use today, says old home guy. Stephen Cook, I'm not even going to read that one. Let's see. I'll celebrate Muffler's Day, LOL. Yeah, so that's basically what it's going to be. It's definitely going to be, will these mufflers hold up? Will they cause fires? I think that's going to be a big thing. Like I said, the over-under is going to be 2 for me. More than two cars randomly catch on fire because of these mufflers that apparently are improperly installed by the teams, even though they only got them last week. Adam says, well, gents, I'm living in Germany, so I won't be able to see the race. Oh, that's unfortunate, but you'll at least be able to catch it on YouTube the next day, I think. But I'm looking forward to seeing your post-race analysis, BB. I appreciate it, Adam, and I will get that done for you for sure. I think the qualifying races start around 5 or 6. Oh, good point, Escobar. Yeah, so the main event, I guess, starts at 8 o'clock. So I did forget about that. So about 5 or 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time will be the qualifying races. I forgot about that. Yeah, so sorry. Hopefully, whoever asked that question is still watching. Hopefully, Nas is still watching. So probably 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the qualifying races will start. Joshua Jenkins says, I think this year is going to be a lot of chrome horns and actions. Go 43. Yeah, I think at the short tracks, you're going to see a lot more pushing and banging. Because I think with this particular car, the way the aero and stuff like that set up, you're going to have to move people on the shorter, lower speed tracks to get around them, in my opinion. But of course, last year we saw that the cars were so tight that even when you hit them, it actually just helped them go faster in a lot of cases. So that'll be something interesting to watch. And of course, Eric Jones, to finish that off, Eric Jones is also a good pick for this race. Matt Hunter says, my top 5 favorite drivers, the Dinger, Brad Keselowski, that Jones boy, Alex Bowman, the showman, and Danny, the Amigo Suarez. That's a good top 5. I like that top 5. Let's see, we got 1 Chevy, 1 Ford, 2 Chevys, 3 Chevys, 4 Chevys, and 1 Ford. So I like that. That's a good mix. No Toyotas in that mix. Dylan Brown also warmed up to Kyle Busch over the years. Yeah, I think you've just been around him for so long. He's kind of like that friend, right? He's a butthole, but he's our butthole, right? That's how a lot of people feel about him, right? So I don't know if you've ever been with a group of people and they're like, your friend is a butthole, and you're like, yeah, he is a butthole, but he's our butthole. I think that's where a lot of people have sort of gotten with the Kyle Busch deal. Yeah, he can be difficult, but he's vastly entertaining, and he's one heck of a talent. So I think he's going to do really. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with this RCR stuff. And here's why I say that: RCR people make this argument about RCR. They say Austin Dillon's terrible and he shouldn't be in the car, and they always say RCR equipment is horrible. Well, Austin Dillon has 4 wins, so one of those can't be true. Either Austin Dillon's good or the equipment's good. So we're going to find out this year if the RCR equipment is good, but you can't have both of those arguments. You can't say that Austin Dillon's terrible and RCR equipment is terrible, and then Austin Dillon's sitting here with, I think, like 4 wins, right, in his career. Escobar says, I think he gained Earnhardt fans that have seen him leave JGR to go to RCR. I, for one, was a diehard Earnhardt fan and have warmed up to Kyle since the announcement to RCR. I think that plays a big part in it. Like, since Kevin Harvick left, and since RCR fans haven't had Dale Earnhardt, they've been waiting for that next superstar to get to RCR, and they've been waiting a long time. And Kyle Busch is that next superstar. It was going to be Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, they were going to build around him. He was going to be big. But now that you got another superstar at RCR, I think it's reinvigorated the RCR. The RCR fan base. Let's see. BB Fastlane Daily was a daily NASCAR show here on YouTube. Okay. So, I never saw that one, so I'll have to look back at it and check that one out. Bent says, NAS broadcast start at 1 a.m. in Norway. I think you're the same, or an hour difference as far as the timeline goes. So it'll be probably a 1 a.m. start time in your time zone, I think. Mike Ora, oh my God, Ty Gibbs is the new KFB, says Mike Ora. I think a lot of people feel that way. Mike Hunter continues with his top 10. Ross the Boss at 6. Cindric, the Serenader at 7. Christopher Clutch Bell at 8. And Briscoe the Kid at 9. Tyler the Rooster Reddick at 10. So they could continue with the solid list. And there you go. We got some Toyota drivers in there as well. And we've sort of filled out the field with some more Fords there. So multi-brand fan. I like that. Haley has a win. Yeah, he won the it was Talladega in the rain, I think. Let's see here. If I said he didn't have a win, that's just my bad. What's NASCAR's version of a bonehead? I don't know. I don't want to call anybody out as far as that goes. I'm being soft, and I'm not going to call anybody out for being a bonehead. Spider P says, I was impressed with the chemistry Kyle had with his team on the radio. Randall's the man. Randall's really good. Derek and Kyle all seem to be really in sync. I think he's going to be happy with Randall. I think Randall's one of the better crew chiefs out there, and hopefully RCR can lock him down for a long time. I think they will be able to now that they've got Kyle Busch. So hopefully that team will continue to grow. I'm interested to see how Tyler Reddick sort of meshes with his crew chief over there at 2311, because Tyler Reddick, for ever since his Xfinity Series days, has been with Randall Burdett. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with a new crew chief. We know Tyler Reddick is super talented, but will he be able to get off on that right foot with his crew chief and his team over there? And we know the 2311 cars are fast. I think AJ is a sleeper Final Four this year. Oh, yeah. I've put him in my final 8. I don't necessarily have him in my final 4, but he could definitely get into the final 4. And just because I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of you have said I did a way too early prediction thing in November. But I guess a lot of you didn't see it. So next week I will pick my 16 my 16 drivers and all that good stuff. So I will do that. Thanks a lot, Eric Estep, for putting pressure on me by doing yours. Eric Estep now programming the channel. But yeah, I will do my top 15 picks again. I'll have to go back and look at what I said. Probably contradict some of what I said in the November one. But I will do a preseason pick. Let's see here. Oh, got a super chat. Let's see. Whoa, way behind. Channel has really caught on. Congratulations, says Dylan Brown. I appreciate the shout out there, Dylan. All the money will be going to the project, of course, that we're going to work on when I hit 10,000. So if you're not subscribed, we got a project car that we're going to start building at 10,000. It's going to be a Fiat. I've given up on the Yugo. It's going to be a Fiat, and that's all I'm going to give to you until we get to the project. So feel free to subscribe. Mike Orr said, good call. I forgot about that one. BB, you need a high and tight brother like me, says Rich L. Yeah, I don't know. I do the jar head, and then I let it grow to like this. So that's basically what did my friend in the Marines called it, a white wall. Yeah, white wall. He said, you go white wall and then you go hippie. So let's see. Tip Jackson. I don't like AJ. He walks around like a banty rooster. I think that's because of his back pain. He's got a really bad back, but he does walk really straight. But I think it's because he's got a bad back. Tip Jackson. But yeah, AJ can be polarizing too, right? A lot of people like him, but a lot of people don't like him because he runs over people. He has a short fuse, and he will, of course, wreck people with that short fuse. Anthony at Auto Club Speedway says, I'm at the LA Coliseum right now. That's what's up. What's up, Anthony? Excited for a new season, and atmosphere here is very hyped, just like last year. I'm glad the energy is good. I think it's going to be a great event. It has really surprised me, and I'm glad. I've never been so glad to be wrong in my entire life. I'm so glad that this has gone off well, and I hope all the racing there is good today, and I hope you enjoy the event. Stay out of the sun, stay cool, stay hydrated. Ryan Fuster says, laughing at Tip's comment about AJ. One wise guy says, can you elaborate on how the Gibbs fire started? NASCAR is blaming it on the muffler, one wise guy, and they're saying it's because the Gibbs team installed the muffler wrong. I'm saying I'm still not letting NASCAR off the hook on that, because NASCAR only introduced this muffler last week. So how are these teams supposed to know how to install the muffler if they just saw it last week for the first time in their life? So I still think NASCAR is to blame for it. I'm not letting them off the hook, because anytime you have a driver fire inside of the cockpit, that is some type of issue that should have been addressed, and they definitely should have tested this thing well in advance of 1 week before the Coliseum race. So I'm not happy with NASCAR's R&D on this particular piece of equipment. And I don't expect the teams to know how to install something that they just saw last week. I think that's bull crap that they're throwing the team under the bus. Stephen Cook says, no worries, man. I was replying to a chatter. Mark Barnum, I see Rockingham replacing Auto Club next year, since there will be no race in Auto Club in 2024. That's a fair point. NASCAR could definitely slide another track in there and see what happens. Potentially Wilkesboro could get a points race in that particular situation as well. Maybe this is the return of Chicagoland, but Auto Club being off the docket for 2024 opens up a few things. It could definitely, and I think another aspect of that is, does NASCAR want to keep it on the West Coast for a West Coast swing? Do they go over there and find a short track or something? They can have another short track event over there. A lot of people have mentioned that as well. So it'll be something to look for. Too bad Mesa Marin got torn down. That would have been the perfect fit, but whatever. Apparently they needed a ball field. RJ Bansma says, Mark Barnum, which will be the first Cup race at the Rock in 20 years? Yeah, so it's been 20 years. Angus 420 says that would be amazing. Wham Bam Ham says over. Taking the over on the two cars randomly catching on fire. I like it. I'm with you on the over there. So we're both taking the over. Maybe we might both land on NASCAR bad opinions. So we'll see there. Looks like you can move people a lot easier this year on short tracks. Hopefully, because last year you couldn't do the bump and run. you did the bump and you gave them an extra boost. It was a bump and boost. So if you ran into the back of them, you actually helped them out because all the cars were set up to be so tight. This particular car, you have to set it up to be tight because it's already just by design, I guess, looser than the previous generation. So if you have a tight car and you get hit in the back end, it actually helps loosen the car up and speeds it up. Just in case you didn't know. RJ says, aren't Toyotas driven by Jedi? So I don't know. I thought that was a Volkswagen commercial where the little kid turns on he's got the Darth Vader helmet on and he turns the car on like that. So I thought that was a Volkswagen commercial. Mark Fussner says, I didn't realize Eric Jones is only 26. I think LMC can have a big year with multiple wins. Yeah, so that was my big thing about Eric Jones. I couldn't believe Legacy Motorsports or Petty GMS, whatever you want to call them, actually got him. Because not only did they get a younger driver than Christopher Bell, I couldn't believe Gibbs got rid of him either. You got rid of a younger driver. Gibbs, think about it like this. And nothing against Gibbs. Like who do you get rid of, right? Like you've got like nothing but superstars over there at the time. But if they had made the move, like let's say you get rid of Kyle Busch, now, and you had like gotten rid of Kyle Busch and you had kept Eric Jones and Christopher Bell, like then you have two young guys, and then later on you add, Ty Gibbs at some point. Then you got three young studs over there. And you're set up for the future. Now they've let their really good drivers get to the point where they're in their 40s, and they're definitely closer to the end. And granted, Toyota's always got drivers in the pipeline, but do they have drivers in the pipeline that have multiple Cup Series wins like Eric Jones did? And now you got Christopher Bell. You would be set up for the future so much better if you had Eric Jones and Christopher Bell over there right now. Hindsight's 2020. They made the decision they made. They're going to be fine either way. But I thought it would have been a smarter move to keep Eric Jones and get Christopher Bell over there. You would just have to cut ties with one of your other drivers. Of course, that's all dependent on sponsorship, and I'm sure Eric Jones just didn't have the sponsorship at the time. There were other extenuating factors in that circumstance. I don't think they necessarily wanted to get rid of Eric Jones, but that's what ended up happening. And of course, if you had 2311 back then, you could have put Eric Jones over there at 2311. So Toyota's in a much better situation now, but that was rough. And Richard Petty Motorsports at the time, Petty GMS, now Legacy Motorsports. I don't know what they'll be in 2025. They'll probably change the name again. But that was awesome that just completely fell into their lap. Donnie S says Austin Dillon is decent. Yeah, I think Austin Dillon, just in case you haven't seen before, I think Austin Dillon's a really good race car driver. He gets no respect because he's Richard Childress's grandson. Do I think he's the next Kyle Busch or anything like that? No, but I think he's a really solid race car driver, right along the lines of Eric Almirola and other drivers like that. I would put him at that level for sure. My employees referred to me as an a-hole, but I was their a-hole. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Mark Barnum, with the Kyle Busch deal. I don't care what anyone says. Beef, it's what's for dinner. It's the funniest title sponsor ever. That they had a good commercial campaign with that as well. Ryan Fuster says, I used to hate Kyle Busch, but now I have softened on him later in his career, much like how I felt about Kurt. Yeah, so for whatever reason, they grow on you, right? They just grow on you. It is what it is. It's hard to explain. Ryan Fuster, I wonder if Kyle tells dad jokes. 100% that guy tells dad jokes. He's wild behind the scenes if you follow his Instagram at all. We're cooking marshmallows yesterday. LOL, says William Wagaman. Chase Briscoe as a dark horse pick to win. Yeah, Chase Briscoe's definitely, he's got a chance. He's got a fast car. This type of race sort of suits him, in my opinion. The 4 Interstate Battery cars are cool, but it's not the same without the 18. Yeah, it's just going to be really different not seeing a number 18. It's sort of the ending of an era. This is the first year since Interstate's been with Joe Gibbs Racing that there won't be a number 18 Interstate car. Maybe they can get something going in the Xfinity series as far as that goes, because it's going to be really bizarre not seeing a number 18 Interstate car. Rich L says Tyler the Rooster Reddick. I can see that though. I can see that. To be totally honest, I see where he's getting that from. Matt Hunter says Priest is his Clash pick. William Byron is 12. Haley 14. Corey LaJoy, Michael McDowell, and finally Grayson. So there you go. Gregson, I think is what he means there. Let's see here. Mark Barnum, you ever notice Gibbs acting like he is drinking that monster drink? 10-1. It is an empty can. So here's a fun fact. and this came out on Haley Deegan's channel a while back, but those Monster Energy things, they fill them with water. Most of those Monster Energy drinks that they're drinking, they're filled with water, and that's just the driver rehydrating. So Haley Deegan leaked the beans on that one. They actually give them ones filled with water, because obviously you don't want to be chugging Monsters back to back to back and then getting a race car and you'd be like all like geeked up. He's probably actually drinking water, but if you look down in the can, it would probably look like it's empty because it is water. So there you go. There's your fun fact. That's what you learned today on the Baloney Burger channel. Mark, I noticed that as well. Says Jason Pons. Donnie S is on top of it. It's water, LOL. Holy water, Donnie S. Oh man, I'm not gonna get into the guy's religion, so I'll leave that be. That's between him and the Lord. Let's see here. Ryan Fuster. I found this out from a friend who worked for Monster. They have cans meant only for their crew and sponsored athletes. They look like normal cans, but it's really just, there you go. Everybody's on top of that one. So there you go. Ryan Fussner. Ryan Fussner donating super chat money, not to build a Fiat. But see, the point is to build the Fiat because we were going for the most unreliable car you could get to make it a race car. And you'll see sort of the other angle to it. So it's going to be a funny and fun project. We will do some real projects after that, though. We're not going to do nothing but funny projects. That project will have a point. It'll be funny, but it'll also have a point. Let's see here. Obviously, I don't want to give too much away before I actually do it. This may be the most exciting race year for a long time. New cars, new teams, drivers wanted to prove a point. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the better years too. There's just going to be so many storylines, even outside of the track. You got the TV money. You've got the Gibbs versus RCR versus 2311. You've got Toyota versus Chevrolet, because Chevrolet is not happy about losing Tyler Reddick. Toyota's probably not super happy about losing Kyle Busch. Like there are so many different angles to this season. Ford, does SHR elevate? Because a lot of people feel like SHR is not getting the best Ford equipment because they flirted with Dodge, allegedly. Just all kinds of stuff. Please be a Fiat. Nikki says Angus 420. Dinger is a road ringer. LOL. Joe Gibbs might be slowly. Oh, I'm not going to say that, Nathan Urich. It might be doing self-damage to himself. I'll put it that way. Ryan Fussner with LOL. Angus 420. Would it be funny if Aiden Millward was here? LOL. Rich L. If the Fiat doesn't work out, you need to build a 69 Pinto or AMC Pacer. If I built that out, they got too much hood. I would put something stupid in them. I would get ignorant with that, and that would get expensive. So I'm not doing that. But it would be a cool project. I see where you're going with that. Let's see. RJ says NASCAR playing a victim card with the mufflers. Should have done more tests before requiring them. That's exactly where I'm at, RJ. That's exactly how I feel about it. I like Tony's response to AJ wrecking his car on live TV. Yeah, like Tony was basically like, I knew that was coming as soon as Briscoe did what he did. Yes, 100%. Rich L says Angus facts 100. Guy says what they did with Blaney was pretty stupid. Yeah. So back in the day, and somebody said that John Hunter Nemechek did it at Bristol on Twitter. I don't remember that one, but I'm calling it the Ryan Blaney rule because everybody saw this one and everybody remembers this one because it happened at the LA Clash. But Blaney basically messed up his qualifying lap or whatever happened. He tried to turn all the way around on the track and then get a full lap that way. So now you can't stop your lap, turn around, go backwards on the track to get a full run at your next lap. So we're going to call that the Ryan Blaney rule, even though other people did it before him. But other people had ALS before Lou Gehrig, but for the longest time, they called it Lou Gehrig's disease. So we're calling it the Ryan Blaney rule. William Wagaman says, are they bacon steak or horse meat along to cook on the fire? I don't know. They got the grill going in the 54 car, though. Is Happy going to get some crappy parts today? He might. He called him out for crappy parts last year, and the crappy parts continue. I saw Black Flags Matter say that, so stealing his trademark on that one. I'm downloading the oldies right now. My wife likes them. Says Rich L. Kia has the market on engine fires. Oh man, I don't think they have the market because what's the other one that spontaneously combusts? Wasn't there like a They're like a Chevrolet or something with the or maybe it was the Ford. What was that really small car Ford made over here? I don't know, but something had like an ignition box that was going wrong with the ignition key. I think it was a Chevrolet with the steering mechanism and the ignition box. Anyway, rambling. The two drivers I despise more than any I'm worried about will win each race this year, Kyle and Bubba. So you got to be specific on which Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch. But yeah, Bubba's got a fast car, so he's going to be another one. I don't think this is his particular type of track. I would be surprised to see him win this one, but he is good at Martinsville. Martinsville is basically a flat track, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But he didn't look good at this race last year. But maybe he's put something together in the off season in the sim rig. Two drivers I could live with is Happy and Denny. Time to retire. I could live without. Oh, sorry about that, Rich L. Two drivers I could live without. I completely misquoted you. Are Happy and Denny. Time to retire for both of them. So Rich L putting it down says, I'm ready for both of them to retire. I wish they both quit. RJ says, Mark Bonham, it would be interesting to see if Chris was sponsored by Taco Bell. That would be an interesting deal. So there was also some, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get into that one. Angus 420, it's time for Hambone and Happy to go be a dad before they get injured in this car. A lot of people feel like that, for sure. Ty Dillon for the win tonight. There you go, old home guy, Ty Dillon. He showed something last year. Didn't transfer, but he showed he was willing to do whatever he had to do to win. He definitely showed that. We'll see what he can do in that Spire car. I don't know if that Spire car is even close to as good as the Petty GMS that he was in last year. Of course, Legacy Motorsport this season. And next season, it will probably be Jimmy Petty Racing. I don't know. Mark Barnum, who'd win a dad joke contest, Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick? My money's on Kevin Harvick with that one. Brett Page, hey, what's up, Burger? I'm thinking I'm going to be Harvick. Not that I like him or anything. So there you go. We got one pick for Kevin Harvick there. And what were Harvick's odds here? Harvick was getting where's Harvick at? Harvick was at plus 2,000. So there you go. Josh Strickland, classic race came on TV today. They were at the Rock in 2004. I think Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane came to the line. Matt Kenseth won by a hair. Good race. Hope it comes back. Yeah, so they sent Rockingham off in style for sure. But they haven't raced there in 20 years. So unfortunate for us. Kyle Busch, hate. Some is JGR hate. Now that he left JGR, people like him more, says old home guy. I agree with that a lot. Reminded me of Harvick when his car was on fire. Yeah, the old crappy parts T-shirt. Happy's crappy parts. Let's see here. Ryan Fuster laughing and says that's fair. RJ says, Mark Barnum, should I tell Busch and Harvick some of my jokes? There you go. RJ has some good dad jokes as well. Fair to the Fiat response, says Ryan Fuster. There you go. I got you. I appreciate it. And I understand you trying to save me by not getting me to build a Fiat because they are definitely unreliable. Fix it again, Tony, is of course the acronym for Fiat. If you can, RJ says Mark Barnum. Mark, that means you were doing your job right, brother. If some thinks you were a b-hole, that's what I used to think when I ran the show. The reality was they couldn't handle efficiency. Yeah, it's tough being the boss. If you like your boss, you're in a good situation because it's hard to be the boss. It's hard to make those calls, and then it's hard to hear people sort of gripe and complain about it. So it's just tough either way. Mark Barnum says, I agree, Rich L. Yeah. It's hard to be at work and be in a position where you got to tell people to do stuff. It just sucks. I'll say that from experience I started off as a cook, or actually I started off washing dishes, became a cook, then became a kitchen manager. Everybody that was my friend all of a sudden hated me, and they were talking about me behind my back and this and that and the other thing. It sucks. It sucks being in charge of stuff. That's all I'll say about it. And they were constantly calling in, but I was calling in sick and not showing up. But I was the bad guy, even though I was filling in for their shifts and stuff like that. It is what it is. Will Harvick ever race in the Truck Series to win a championship, to become the only driver to win in each series? He said he's done with NASCAR. He said he's just basically going to do late model stuff and stuff he wants to do. So I don't see him going for a Truck Series championship. Your best bet for that is honestly going to be Austin Dillon, because Austin Dillon has the truck in Xfinity So if Austin Dillon could put together a good, 10 races, he's going to be your best bet right now. As far as a guy that's won the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and also would win the championship. And of course, I'm not saying he will. I know that's a long shot for Austin Dillon to win the championship, but he would be the next one in my mind because I don't think anybody else has both titles that I can think of off the top of my head. Because Ty Gibbs doesn't, and Noah Gragson, he doesn't have the Xfinity title. I can't remember if he's got the truck title or not. I can't think of anybody. I think Austin Dillon's the only one. Let me know down below if I'm wrong. It might be Ford Fiesta. That's the one that randomly caught on fire. Appreciate it, Ronnie Watkins. Yeah, I think it was either the Ford Fiesta or I think the Chevrolet Cruze. One or the other, they randomly catch on fire. Maybe both. Supreme Baller says 66 likes. So yeah, if you want to like the channel or like this particular episode or whatever, feel free to hit the like on it. Let's see. I lost my place here. Where was I at? Ty Gibbs is a beast, says Supreme Baller. Yeah, he's a heck of a talent. And what I like about him is he's polarizing. You either like him or you don't, and that's good for the sport. I've said that, numerous times. As long as you don't feel fair weather about a driver, I think that driver is good for the sport. I'm not a KB fan, but got to pull for my RCR family, says Josh Strickland. So there you go. There's another angle to it. There's some people that don't like KB, but they're going to pull for him just because he drives for RCR. RJ Bansma says Ford Fiestas are made in Germany. LOL. Yeah, that's probably true. We don't get them over here anymore, so I think it's all they're only European based now. Bubba on his hood works for me, says Normie. So that Bubba obviously another one that is definitely polarizing. Legacy Motor Club should be rebranded to Teamy McTeam Face, says Angus 420. Yeah, so maybe we can start an online petition for that. Change LMC to Teamy McTeam Face. I think we can get some traction there. Supreme Baller Bubba, ain't that the overhyped guy who can't make the playoffs? Says Supreme Baller. RJ says last NASCAR race at The Rock was 2013 with the Craftsman trucks. Yeah, we're talking about Cup Series, RJ, for sure. But yeah, the Truck Series did run there for a little while. I forgot about that. Kyle Larson won that one, I think. You might want to, unfortunately, consider Bubba for Daytona. Oh, yeah, he's a good plate racer. No doubt about it. I'm picking Kyle Busch because I think it lines up for him being in an RCR car. But, yeah, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, they all have to be, as far as plate tracks go, there's some of the better drivers at plate tracks here recently. Supreme Baller says I'll pass. Supreme Baller, I cannot wait for Bubba and Gibbs temper to flare. Oh, that's going to be interesting if they get into it with each other because they have both shown that they like to put hands on people. So that could get it very interesting if that ever happens. I don't see BK doing well at the Coliseum. Short track racing, road courses have never been his tracks. I see him doing really well at the duel at Daytona 500, says Rich L. Could be. Although, to be fair, Brad Keselowski, one of his most famous races was against Marcus Ambrose on the road course where there was oil on the track and those guys were just like banging into each other. That's probably the best road course finish of all time. Supreme Baller says Custer for the Xfinity Series title. Lost my spot here, so I'm going to jump back down to Supreme Baller. He's going to be a Cup champion. Bubba's time running, he can't even crack the playoffs. Talking about Ty Gibbs. So there you go. Definitely two polarizing drivers there. And interestingly, they're both in Toyotas, but people feel differently about them. When do the heat start, says Train 420. I think 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is what somebody said on here earlier. I'll have to check that out and look later. I would look on here, but anytime I pull up the internet, it makes the chat crash. In good equipment, says Supreme Baller. Reddick is going to school Bubba this year. Mark Barnum, I was a boss for 30 years, so glad I don't have 65 people to babysit anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. They'll talk bad about you, but then they call in, sick and like, I don't know, they don't handle their responsibilities. But that's okay. But you do anything that they don't like, they're going to bitch about you. So it's life, right? Yeah, it's got to, I don't know. It's the way life is. That's all I'll say about it. Ryan Fuster, Pontiac Fiero caught on fire, lived up to its name. Yeah, so the Fiero was notorious for that. Greg Biffle has titles in Xfinity and trucks. Yeah, so Greg Biffle could come back and do it. Brian Biggs says, fix it again, Tony Fiat, LOL. Supreme Baller says, I agree, Angus. I don't want to hate on Bubba, but he does it to himself. Yeah, he's definitely polarizing. Like when he opens his mouth and the things he says, that's half of the reason people don't like him. It has nothing to do with anything else, in my opinion. And that being said, of course, there are people that hate him for anything else, right? So he does go through a lot of bullcrap, but there's also a lot of bullcrap that he brings onto himself. That's the best way to say it. Uncle Bones, appreciate the shout out. Let's see here. Angus, you, sir, are on the money today, says Supreme Baller. Why does Xfinity run Mid-Ohio but doesn't run Cup? That's a good question. Mid-Ohio should definitely be on the schedule over some of these other tracks. Of course, they got rid of Road America. That was for a track that's probably going to put on a terrible race. I think that was a mistake too. It'd be cool if Kyle Busch got a Hershey sponsorship for at least a race, says Old Home Guy. I hope they do. I hope they pull that off. I hope they do it. Supreme Baller says Stewart-Haas Racing going to win all 36 races, Custer and the Xfinity title. I don't know about all 36 races, but I think Cole Custer is going to have a supreme season, Supreme Baller. Kyle Busch needs any candy sponsor to come back. So, I guess Nestle and Hershey's would be the two that are out there. But I'm serious about Custer winning. He's a monster. Yeah, I think you're on the money with that one. It's so hard to predict because it's a playoff format, but I feel like Cole Custer is going to be your favorite. And he's definitely going to have the best season. Beast 1624 says schedule for today. I think it starts at 5, Beast. I'm not sure though. Mark Barner says NASCAR just made a rule change about no contact on pit road after the race, called the Bubba Hill rule. So there you go. Supreme Baller, Custer winning the Xfinity Championship would be a benefit to both parties. I want to see Cole Custer get back up there. I feel like he's got definite potential, and I think they gave up on him a little quick. It starts at 4 o'clock on Fox, 4 o'clock Eastern time on Fox, guys. Let's see. Or 6 p.m. Mountain time. Let's see. I love Stewart-Haas, such a BA team, says Supreme Baller. Why did they do a 10-minute break between qualifying? Totally messed up Martin Truex Jr. The track got cooler. It cooled off, and everybody that was set up for the daytime ran slow at the nighttime. Some veterans knew it was going to cool off, and so they gambled and put their nighttime setup on, and they are the ones that went to the front. Because if you look at the vast majority of that top 10, they're all veterans. BB touched on the false documentary that guy did, LOL, and I couldn't agree more, says Supreme Baller. Yeah, so that's one of my more popular videos. I didn't want to make that. I didn't want to talk about it, but I couldn't let something that was that glaring, the way that they tried to frame that, I couldn't let that stand. I wasn't a fan of how they framed that as he was being targeted, when in actuality it was just a misunderstanding or a mistake, whatever you want to say. So cash grab and making the sport look bad, says Supreme Baller. How many cautions in the main event due to an actual accident or wrecks? Over under 3. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over on that. It starts at 4 o'clock on Fox. Every time Bubba appears, I play the Benny Hill theme. Yep, old Benny Hill. Check out Benny Hill on YouTube if you don't know what we're talking about. Derek Long, I think morning racing will run mid-pack most races. I think AM racing will run. I don't know what AM is. I'm missing that for some reason. Liz Bastook says, hello, folks. Ryan Fussner. I'm moving on to go run errands before watching the Clash tonight. Thanks for the content, BB. Glad to see your page blowing up. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go NASCAR racing in 2023, boys. Appreciate it, Ryan Fuster. Let's see. Also, what big names don't make it into the main event? Oh, that's a good question. I put it on there. I think Martin Truex is one. I can't remember the heats off the top of my head, but I know I had Martin Truex in there. I had Ross Chastain in there. Who else? Anyway, basically anybody starting 4th, I feel like is in a bad situation because you're starting on the outside and you got a car in front of you. So anybody that was starting 4th, I was worried about because they might get shuffled back and they might not be able to recover. 8 p.m. Eastern is the actual race. Yeah, but we were talking about the qualifying races. I think the qualifying races start at like maybe 4 p.m. It's going to be an all-day event, so I think 4 p.m. is when the qualifying races start. Nestle Candies in Canada make Smarties, and they are like M&Ms, but bigger and better, says Old Home Guy. Yeah, so Nestle does a lot of good candy as well. I like the old Nestle Crunch. Fun fact, Nestle actually makes the Kit Kat everywhere but the United States. The United States, the Kit Kat is outsourced to Hershey. So Nestle actually is the maker of the Kit Kat. And I don't know why that random fact popped into my head, but now you know. I had to share it. Angus 420, Old Home Guy, our Smarties in the U.S. or your Rockets, IRC, the Xfinity team. Oh, okay. I got you, Derek Long. So I got you. RJ says, yesterday, NASCAR 2003 turned, NASCAR Racing 2003 turned 20 years old. Now I feel old. Yeah, that game is probably responsible for putting more people in the industry than anybody else. Flyaway Duck Club, thoughts on Matty D? Matty D has to be one of your favorites to win the Truck Series Championship. They've done nothing but build over there at Rackley War Racing. So I expect them to have a good season and continue to build on that. I do expect him to get some wins this season. Chad Huffman says, hey, VB, late to the party. What's up, Chad? Good to have you on here. As always, One Wise Guy says, Race Hub starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So that would be 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can do that math, I think. Let's see here. Auto Club Speedway. I have enough fingers to do that math. The main event will actually start at sunset. The race will end under the lights. So there you go. That'll be really cool to see. And you get the night to day change as far as setups go. So that'll be cool too. Bubba D Wolf says, how you feel on don't have in the top 30 in points make the playoffs anymore, just got to win. Yeah, that's just I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the playoffs anyway. So that to me, if you're using the playoffs to create excitement, that creates more excitement than forcing somebody to have to be in the top 20 or whatever in points. So at the end of the day, if you're going for excitement, that creates more excitement because some random guy could win and get into the playoffs. So from that aspect, it does. If you're going for that for the playoffs, for what they're trying to do with the playoffs, it makes sense. I'm not a fan of the playoffs in their current format, the way it's set up now. So I don't know. But it makes sense. But I don't like the win and you get in thing anyway. I'm more of a reward a full season of excellence type guy, but that's just me. Wasn't Martin Truex supposed to retire last year, or did I get that wrong? No, he never committed to what he was going to do last year. Eric Almirola was the one that was supposed to retire last year, but he just signed a 2-year deal, so he's around for another 2 years. Mark Barnum says, got to watch the IMSA Challenge race yesterday. The Fords destroyed the field. The Fords are tough in that one for sure. Justin M says 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Heat Race 1, Heat Race 2, and all that. So there you go, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, race day starts. So the pre-race starts at 4 p.m. So in about 30 minutes, and I'm actually going to hop off here in just a few minutes. So get your last questions in, and then I'm going to hop off so everybody can get ready for race day. No Molten Rage blowing up the message board today. I don't know. So we something happened, and we were trying to give him a 2-week timeout, and his account ended up being banned. He's got a backup account, but he's not wanting to jump on with the backup account. So hopefully there's no hard feelings there. I do talk to him on Twitter still, but hopefully he doesn't have any hard feelings. But yeah, his main account is banned, and he is not wanting to join in with the backup account, I guess. So that's that. Is anyone? But there's no hard feelings. He's more than welcome back. We just didn't know that when you ban somebody, you can't unban them. So that's unfortunate. Is anyone going to Chicago road race? I think it'll be a flop. I would go if it was the right situation, but I don't have any plans on going. I do want to see it because I think it's going to be a one-off. I think it's going to be a failure, and they're going to go race at Chicagoland. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a great race and everybody enjoys it. I would put that out there, but I think it's going to be a failure, and I think it's gotten so political that they're just going to run Chicagoland. So if you want to see it, I would suggest you go see it this year. I am not a fan of the playoff anymore, says Bubba D. Wolf. It definitely needs an overhaul. They need to do something with the playoffs if they're going to keep it. They can't keep doing it like they're doing it now, in my opinion. When I have random thoughts, my wife puts me in timeout, says Rich L. Yep, it happens. It happens. Jim Farley was at Daytona this year, racing in a Ford Mustang. That's pretty cool. Who makes the 500? Oh, I don't know. I think Travis Pastrana and Jimmy Johnson have the best chance to make it because they're the most talented drivers in the faster cars. So I feel like those are the two guys that'll lock in hands down. And one of them could end up getting the pole. You never know because they're definitely in fast cars. Bell being banned from dirt makes me think he's shopping SHR. Would not surprise me to see Christopher Bell go to SHR whenever his contract ends at Gibbs. Would not surprise me to see him go to SHR because Tony Stewart loves dirt racers. Enjoy the race tonight, everyone. Says Camaro 50. Appreciate the shout out there, Camaro, the super chat. Thank you very much for that. Winning in is no good. There is no other series who does that. So that's the main thing. Josh Strickland with that one. Our point system is the laughing stock of professional sports. Like, if you look at people outside of the sport that make videos about the NASCAR point system, they joke and laugh about it and talk about how it makes no sense. And my voice is going now, so this we're going to wrap it up real quick here. What happened to Molten Rage? He can come back. It just is what it is. Hopefully he doesn't have any hard feelings. I do talk to him on Twitter. I hope he doesn't have any hard feelings over here. Bring back the Rock, says Napa fan 927. We hope old home guy. Rage RJ LOL. Says Mark Barnum. Thanks for hanging out, Kyle. Says one wise guy. Burke Lakefront in Cleveland would be a better race than Chicago Street Course. There's a lot of places they could have it that would be better than there, in my opinion. They need to bring back the Winston Cup series point system. They do, but they'll never do it, RJ. And Delmar Kaufman says, enjoyed the chat, and I'm stuffed up and my voice is going. So that's it. I appreciate you guys for sticking it out with me. Normally these are a little bit longer, but I'm struggling today. But I did get this one in, so I'm glad we made it this far. Until the next one, thanks for your time. Peace.